Hey everybody, it's Sean. Today I'm going to talk to you a little bit through some class creation. So class is kind of like the code version of creating almost like a species or something. So if we want to say our class is like a dog, well, every dog has a name, every dog has this breed, every dog has. So we can take a class, we can parse it out into each individual object like this, and then we can modify it however we want, or we can call things out. So one of the ways that we can call some of this stuff out is .map. So to do that, we're going to install .map into our code. So this !pip install .map. Okay, so we're going to wait for that. And once we download it, we're going to have to import it. So from .map, we want .map. Okay, so we're going to run that. What do we have here? What do we have here? Alright. Now to help parse out this information, we are going to go through and create a class. So all classes have capital names, so if I wanted to name this class something like dog, you always keep it class or keep it capitalized. But I'm going to name it props because we're looking for properties. Okay. Now, when you're first creating the class, you have to define things. So we're going to define, since it's our initial definition, it's 2 underscores, init, 2 underscores, and then we're going to create some parentheses. And in these parentheses, we got to tell it what we want to create. So we want to create something with itself and then components. Okay, now that we have itself and components, we want to kind of give it or tell it some more information about what everything is. So now we have our comps. So, but first things first, we want to make sure that whatever value we're getting is real. Unexpected. That's a problem. There we go. Didn't have the right syntax, didn't create an indent. Woohoo! There we go. So, now, to make sure we're getting a real value, we're going to create a little for statement for a single component in our collection of components. Our text is going to be what finally our requests library is going to use, and then we're going to get, and then this is really important as to why we did those, or that line 3. So we get our base URL plus our component plus our suffix, and that's how we create whatever URL we want to grab that data. So we can even add more components into this. So we can go up here, and maybe we want isopropanol, and maybe something else like ethanol. So we're gonna have to make sure they're in alphabetical order. So maybe we want to learn a little bit more about ethanol, isopropanol, and water instead. So now we have a collection of components. So part of these components we have to make sure you add them all together, and then we get more data. So after we get this, for all the components in the components. Now if those values in the components, so we get a text.status. Let's see exactly what it is. And if it does not equal the value, then we want to raise a flag. Well, what flag do we want to raise? So the way that you raise a flag is this raise, and then you want to create a value error. Now part of this value error we want is a function, and it'll go into the dictionary for component, and we want to say no data available. No data available. Alright, now that we got all that ran. It's real neat. Love not having to put the end statements and things. So, okay, let's say we want pvap a. So we want comps dot pvap a. See if we can get anything. Oh, comps isn't defined because comps isn't capitalized. It's not part of our dictionary. So let's go back. Create comps.pvap a. List has no attribute to pvap a. Okay. Because we're only extracting single properties, not variable properties. Should pick something in my list. Here we go. So let's try comps.molecular weight. Okay. Let's see. Oh, it's because we're not looking in comps, looking in props. Props is not defined. That's right. So we haven't quite finished out creating our dictionary yet. Okay, so write it down. Get rid of 1. So this is going to go back into our for statement. So our single props, we're going to create a new path ID. So we have this, and then we have this path, and then we're going to do a find all, and whatever we want is a text.text. Right now all of our stuff is in strings, so we're going to be stuck working with strings until we define new things. So now for single props, we want to create a dictionary known as single props. And once we're done with these single props, we're going to create the whole big curly bracket dictionary. Alright, now let's see what we can do. Are we going to get our props.molecular weight? The props is not defined. That's a lie because I already made it a thing. Okay, let's rerun the code. Let's start changing things. Basic URL already satisfied. Dot map. Then run our class definition. Props.molecular weight. That's odd. Props is defined. Alright, well, that's all the dictionary class definition, and then how to run and see if it has values in something that we're looking for. My issue is creating and defining is remembering how to name this stuff and create or to check the values. But we'll push forward, and in the next video I'll show you guys how to do all of the manipulation that you need to do to create calculation, and we'll review some of the stuff that we've already talked about, especially with the regex or regex 101, to create something for a different area of the code. So for the multiple properties or coefficient properties that depend on calculations to create. So I'll put all that stuff, or we'll go over it all in the next video, and I'll see you then.